In this video, I'm going to be going over 6 different types of chemical reactions. The first chemical reaction we're going to be talking about is synthesis. So synthesis is the idea of two things coming together to create a new compound. So A plus B equals AB. An easy way to think about it is like color combinations. So blue plus red equals purple. Or like how berries plus juice equals a smoothie. A great example of a formula would be iron sulfide. So iron plus sulfur equals a new compound. Decomposition, or also known as chemical breakdown, is where one reactant is being broken apart into its compounds. Or as you can see here, AB is being split back into A plus B. A good way of thinking about it is, again, colors, because purple is actually made with blue and red. Another example of this is how organic waste turns into dirt by decomposing. It breaks down into its compounds. An example of a formula would be this. The compound with aluminum and oxygen gets turned back into just aluminum plus oxygen. A single replacement is basically one element plus one compound turns into one element and another compound. Often, it just switches metals to get the new product. The basic formula would be A plus BC turns into B plus AC. A basic analogy for a single replacement would be a woman leaving her current partner for a different partner. A basic example of a formula using elements would be zinc plus a compound of copper and chlorine turn into zinc chlorine compound plus copper. As you can see, the two metals just swapped. Double replacement is two compounds turning into two compounds, inner elements combined with outer elements, or metals switched to form new product. A basic structure for formula would be AB plus CD turns into AD plus CB. An analogy for double replacement would be two couples are dancing and the two girls look over and they decide to trade partners. An example of a double replacement formula using elements would be sodium and bromine in a compound and barium and chlorine in a compound, turning into sodium and chlorine in a compound and barium and bromine in a compound. The chemical reaction acid-base neutralization is if you have an equal amount of acid and base, then it is a neutral, aka water or salt. The basic formula for this is acid plus base will turn into water and salt because it neutralizes. I made an analogy for this using numbers. If you have a -6 and then you add a +6, it equals a 0, also known as a neutral. An example of a formula using elements would be hydrogen chlorine compound plus sodium hydroxide compound turns into sodium chlorine, aka salt, plus H2O, aka water. Combustion is a chemical reaction that results in fire. Examples of combustion chemical reactions are fireworks, matches, and fire. It will always involve oxygen in the chemical formula. Since it is fire, it always produces carbon dioxide and water. An example of a formula for combustion using elements would be carbon and hydrogen compound plus dioxide that turns into H2O plus carbon dioxide. Okay, there we go. That is all 6 of the chemical reactions I will be covering today. Thank you for listening.